What's happening there, Parker?
Anti-Venom's fighting himself more than he is me.
Subcutaneous control chips would do the job. How dangerous is this guy?
He drains my powers on contact, and he's invisible to my spider sense.
Terrific. Well, where are you now, and can you avoid Anti-Venom?
66th floor, and yeah, maybe I could avoid him. Plus, if his explosions bring the building down, people for blocks around will be killed.
Alright, so the first thing you're going to notice is that we have a fancy new outfit. And I went back and grinded, I suppose you could call it. And I also went back and got all those golden spiders I left out due to the video's pacing. So it's time to purchase everything we can. I'm buying pretty much all the moves here and upgrading their health a tiny bit. But Miguel and Spidey both have new outfits. Spider-Man is wearing the new Ultimate Spidey outfit, and Miguel is wearing Ben Reilly's outfit. I figured it would be the other way around, considering the way their style seems to work, but this is good too. So we just learned that the reason for Anti-Venom's aggression is probably due to some control chips, and we can probably assume that SLOAN is the one with the control chips. I mean, it's not like there's anyone else with access to Alchemax's technology right now. Or, you know, ever, because if you read the last memo, Alchemax is not exactly very friendly to scientific discovery that is not heavily controlled by the corporation itself.
Gotta find a way to get Eddie Brock free of whatever's controlling him.
Perhaps the plot twist is that Miguel is the mastermind.
There you are. Eddie, you're being controlled. Fight it!
Fight you instead! Just stay on your feet.
He took off again.
Yeah, if only you'd do the same.
O'Hara, if you don't get that I can't turn my back on danger, no matter what the cost, then you've got no business calling yourself Spider-Man.
Wow, I'm hurt. Guess what else I am? Still alive. Let's hope you get to keep saying the same thing.
While both our protagonists were understandably being assholes to each other, the game just introduced a new mechanic, the time doors, which are indicated by that little bar at the top. They're not very frequent, but there are quite a few in this chapter. There are a lot of shiny things to get in this room, but we can't quite reach them yet, so we're going to have to come back shortly. It sounds like Anti-Venom is struggling to keep himself under control.
We've been a lot of things to each other, Eddie, but you've never been anyone's patsy.
Oh, good. Stand there and call them names. Great plan.
Should get this up scarce. Eddie, listen. You've got a chip inside you that's making you do this.
Just making it easier.
The longer that thing's in you, the more it's rewiring your thinking.
No, it can't.
Parker, what are you doing? Because it's causing major problems here.
I've got to get the atomic energy regulators out of the way so they're not destroyed.
So, I'm in danger of frying from radiation because of explosions on your end?
Hey, you're the one who told me about quantum causality.
Yeah, well, now I'm telling you to fix this.
Sheesh. Okay, O'Hara, the first regulator's safe.
The radiation level is dropping, but my costume's providing me some protection from it, but it's not gonna last forever.
And just give me a minute to take care of the other two regulators.
A minute's about all I have.
So this section's pretty much a platforming gauntlet that tests all of the things you should have learned about how the game works. It's also really, really fun because the web slinging in this game is fantastic.
I've gotten the second regulator to safety. Is it still affecting things on your end?
Yeah, it's still dropping, but the cumulative effect, if it's not stopped entirely.
Have body parts started falling off yet?
No, I'm still in one. What do you mean yet? Are you planning to make this go away or not?
You know, you gotta learn to lighten up. I'll take care of the last one. Everything will be fine.
You're not the one who could end up as a human nightlight.
Yeah, let's not give Miguel a reason to become a villain.
do you mean, uh-oh?
This door should do the job. O'Hara, tell me you're okay.
Better than okay. I'm back up to full strength.
I hate to admit it, but this quantum causality thing of yours is actually pretty effective.
Oh, glad you approve.
You know, for something that makes no freaking sense at all.
It is very, very possible to lose that QT, and you have to jerk your Wiimote like there is no tomorrow if you want to make it in time. All those consoles we keep touching just give us extra experience points.
It doesn't look like an automatic door. It's a two-man operation. But I can move fast enough after I hit that switch to get through.
Well, yeah, we could do that, or we could run in here and grab one of the last two memos and punch this generator. I will be posting both in the description, and in a much more timely manner this time, I promise. Punching that generator will let us get a golden spider we couldn't get earlier, because this room up here should look a little bit familiar. You know, for someone who's supposed to be rescuing us, Miguel seems to need a lot of rescuing himself. Not that I'm complaining, that just makes the game a lot more fun. Hey, it's that lovely haunting music we never get to hear. And it's gone already. This challenge introduces mutants, which are those pink things I'm trying to hit desperately. They fire lasers out of their mouths. They only take one hit to destroy, but they try to snipe you and they can teleport everywhere. Luckily, in case you haven't noticed, the game gives us plenty of room to move around during our battles. The mutants are a product of Alchemax's genetic research. The game kind of glazes over it. They barely mention it. I think Spider-Man mentions it once in an upcoming room, but that's about it. To be fair, they both deal with shit like this pretty much every day of their lives.
What the heck are these? Looks like they escaped from the Museum of Unnatural History.
Not Spidey's best joke. Alright, so these giant mutants always come with little baby mutants, because they're called mothers. And whenever you see one of them, even though they're not very hard to kill on their own, they do spawn the baby mutants with lasers. Go away, action figure prop-up, I wanted to tell them what it was called. So it's been established through the memos that SLOAN does not even try to care about what happens to other people. He doesn't even try to ensure safety, and he researches whatever the hell he damn well pleases. You know, there are mutants running around, and he actively encourages killing people who research things for humanitarian causes. Come to think of it, with his vast resources and anti-venom at his disposal, he could probably work on curing cancer whenever he felt like it. I know how comic books work. You just plug anti-venom into a big machine and it fixes everybody's cancer. We know Octavius works here as well, so it's not like he's short on brain power.
Back off, Eddie! You're a puppet! Fight the puppet master, not me!
Difficult for me, too.
You don't know what you're doing!
I know enough. You have to die.
Or we both can live!
You think you're so much better than I am, acting like you're so worried about me.
I'm worried about what you'll do to other people. And yeah, to me. But if you can fight it...
He can't, trust me.
Oh yeah, I always trust people who are trying to kill me. So you're the head lunatic. Well, we haven't been properly introduced. I'm the guy who's gonna stop your plans.
Good luck with that. Anti-venom, finish him.
Can't! I can't!
Impressive resistance, but activating all the control chips, releasing your more bestial side, should do the trick.
So Anti-Venom got just a tiny bit more muscular. He's not that hard to fight, you just need to keep moving around.
You'll hate yourself in the morning.
And you know, thanks to Hypersense, this first phase of the fight is absolutely no problem.
One of your last warnings.
We can't be quite as aggressive as we would if we were Miguel, but it's still not like we have to stay on the defensive the whole time either. Those little sticky things on the floor can actually trap you, and you need to waggle to get out of them. It's actually kind of hard to run into them, especially since when you use Hypersense, Spidey just passes right over. Come on, Eddie, who turns down a beer with Spider-Man?
What's going on? I'm taking care of Brock!
That's the last thing you want to do. If you lose,
How about you stop talking? Distracting me is not helping.
if you survive this, I may kill you myself.
We seem to be doing fine so far, but Anti-Venom could pull out his tentacles at any second and we'd be screwed. All things considered, Spidey's strategy is pretty awful.
Hello? Eddie? We all done here? Huh. How about that? Miguel, good news. Turns out you were wrong. Hope that doesn't wound your ego.
What, you think if you die, I'll be happy to be right?
Well, I don't think you're happy to be wrong.
Well, then you know as little about me as you think I know about you.
What I know is that Brock looks to be down for the count. Better make sure, though. So, can we call this one a wrap, Eddie? Maybe go grab some coffee, laugh about it? Okay, guess I can go back now and take out SLOAN once and for all. Okay, great, no spider sense. No!
Trying to cure you.
Go cure yourself. Nice try. Didn't work.
Yes, it did. Now to finish the job!
You know, Spidey, maybe if you didn't downgrade from beer to coffee, this wouldn't have happened. Alright, so jokes aside, we're kind of in deep shit right now because Brock just took away our Hypersense. This perilous, life-threatening situation seems like the perfect opportunity to explain that when Brock is draining our powers, he's actually draining our radiation. That's why he claims he's curing Spidey.
The chip they stuck in you is messing with your power. Fight it, Eddie.
You're about to die!
Eddie, don't you get it? This is your chance to take back your mind. You can end this now.
Yes, end this
Good.
by ending you!
Fantastic. O'Hara, you might get to be right after all.
Believe me, that's the last thing I want. Terrific.
Alright, so this guy right here is a Centurion. You might remember him from the last episode. He has a homing missile, which means you should always take him out first. I think we upgraded Miguel's accelerated decoy, so hit regenerates fairly fast. They're not like an amazing threat or anything, but they are a new enemy type. Even though Miguel starts fighting ranged enemies at this point, it's still much easier to do with him than with Amazing Spidey.
I'm about to reach the gateway room.
And when you get there, then what?
Don't worry.
Yeah, why would I?
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Parker, it's another time distortion blocking my way.
Don't blame me.
I'm not blaming anyone. I need to find another way to the gateway room. I better avoid whatever that stuff is.
They never actually give a name to that junk up there that will kill us if we run into it, so we're just going to call it Death Plasma. Death Plasma gets used in conjunction with the time doors to make you hurry up faster, because if you don't open the door, if you don't run through the door in time, then, well, you explode. You'll see in a second here, the game actually glitches out a little bit, and the time door does not trigger, so I have to destroy myself, but I'm gonna skip past that. This game is mostly glitch-free, and any glitches there are because of the Wii port. It's not because of incompetent programming in general. Alright, so after this Centurion finally dies, I'm gonna pick up the little switch again. And when I do, it's gonna get stuck. I'm not quite sure why or how that happened, but we're just gonna go ahead and skip to when I did it successfully. There we go. Now, the game teases you up here a little bit by placing experience points in this room when you know you need to open the door quickly.
Can't sit around and talking to myself.
O'Hara, you might want to get a move on.
Just hold on a little longer.
Are you kidding me? If Brock wasn't busy fighting what's controlling him, I'd be a blue and red splotch by now.
Point taken. I'll hurry.
So this is the first big fight with Miguel with enemies that have guns. And it's very similar to the challenge with Spider-Man where you need to avoid getting hit. I just have a much easier time with Miguel for some reason. Basically, the idea is to use your guns, not your guns, your webbing a whole lot.
Focus.
Still no concussive blast enemies, or stunners as they're called, for Miguel yet, but don't worry, we'll fight them eventually.
You're joking, right?
Again, these challenges, and indeed most of the stuff I'm doing, is entirely optional, but it's more fun that way, you know?
Don't embarrass yourself.
I had to come up here on the rafters just to show you that you could do it. I just had to. Also, I need to go into this empty room to compulsively check for collectibles that aren't even there.
You have not been cleared for this activity.
Alright, so let's just swing past every obstacle in this room.
Bearings if this keeps up.
1, 2, and 3, and we cleared every obstacle in the room. Now, we could race to beat the timer, but there's another memo right over here. Also, Miguel wanted to crawl up the wall. I did skip a challenge in this room, but again, don't worry, you'll see them all at the end of the video. This costume kinda has me wondering if Ben Reilly exists in this universe. Would the events be changed any? I mean, Anti-Venom still exists after all.
It's getting kind of complicated on my end, but I'm almost there.
You still haven't told me what happens once you get there.
The only thing I can think of is to go back to your time.
Swell. We'll do lunch.
Excuse me, this is the room where I skipped a challenge. I did actually do the challenge in the previous room. My bad. I have a bad tendency to get turned around in here a lot and end up in the death plasma.
Air duct should be around here to get to that control item.
It seems that SLOAN's insanity led to some architectural problems. I can't imagine this vent being used for anything. Clearly air does not move this way on its own. Apparently Anti-Venom is resisting his chips well enough that he has not killed Spider-Man yet. That kind of makes sense, considering Eddie has been shown many times to be a very strong-willed person. But as weak as Spidey is right now, if Anti-Venom doesn't kill him, then SLOAN just will. You know, I'm sure a kick or just a gentle flick would probably do Spidey in right about now. We need to hurry the hell up, is what I'm saying.
Parker, you still with us?
Not for much longer if Brock has anything to say about it. O'Hara, maybe I would have listened to you. You didn't keep saying shock all the time.
Oh, you did listen. You just did what you had to do.
I didn't think I'd have to die for it.
Oh, you won't! Trust me! We'll get you through this.
Almost hitting you.
That makes two of us.
There's not a whole lot we can do right here. We're half, maybe 3/4 dead, so we just need to stall until Miguel gets here, or at least try to. Not doing such a great job.
Good try, Spider-Man, but I've had 100 years to plan this. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I kept you close to keep an eye on you, make use of you. But now you're done, and I'm done with you.
O'Hara, a little help? O'Hara, if you're there, I got nothing left. No power, no nothing. You tried to warn me. I was an idiot.
Stop talking about yourself in the past tense. This isn't over.
Spoken like someone who isn't here.
I will be. Just hold on. I'm doing what I can. Come on, Parker.
But where's that
Never say die attitude.
I don't need to say it to do it. And I'm out of jokes. I'm sorry. I didn't get the job done.
No way, no shocking way are you giving me brave last words!
Alright, so this room should look a little bit familiar. It was our exit from the gateway room back near the beginning of the game, and now it's our way back in. And while Spider-Man desperately clings to what little life he has left, I'm sure Mary Jane is very pissed that they couldn't meet for dinner. Or, you know, she could be off getting herself in danger, but what are the odds of that? These mutants we're fighting right here are actually the perfected versions of the mutants that Spidey fought not too long ago. They never really mentioned that, but I thought it was a very neat detail. Assuming we make it in time, Miguel's going to have to fight Anti-Venom very soon. Hopefully Spidey weakened him enough that Miguel can stand a chance. Or maybe Miguel's just better, and he'll win because of that. You know, he also has a fancy shield and suit. Those probably don't hurt either.
Come on, Spidey. Hold it together. Just another few seconds. Just get your strength back.
this time! Why the shuck didn't he listen to me? I should have found a way to get him to listen. What have you got me into the middle of, Walker? I'm just a scientist, for the love of...
Stop whining, Octavius. You knew I was out to change the future.
I didn't know the future was going to start fighting back. The forces we're unleashing with this quantum tunnel...
It's under control.
It's out of control, and Spider-Man is still alive to stop it.
We'll just send antivenom after him. The gateway just needs a minute to recharge if it's going to send him through safely.
This has to work. It has to. No. The gateway's powering up. Oh, no, you don't! Bring it on, you pasty-faced patsy! What the hell? The place is crawling with Spider-Men!
Don't worry, antivenom will step on this one.
I don't understand. Why aren't Antivenom's powers draining his... Because mine aren't radiation-based, if you have to know.
Didn't know, don't care.
I mean, why should I care that you took away Antivenom's only advantage? Alright, so with Miguel, Antivenom is kind of a piece of cake. We can be as aggressive as we want, and Antivenom will continue to wail on our accelerated decoys. Basically, we're just gonna completely wreck his shit.
That's what's controlling Antivenom. His regenerator must have brought it to the surface.
Alright, so now that we found the chips, it's pretty much game over for Antivenom and Sloan's plan along with him. I mean, Antivenom certainly isn't going to be happy that Sloan tried to control him. He's kinda running on borrowed time right now. Venom buddy? It's not real. You can put it down, it's alright.
O'Hara? Where am I?
Parker! You're alive?
What the... Miguel? There's some kind of monsters breaking in. Where'd they come from?
Just keep calm! They're probably mutation experiments from other regeneration eggs in that lab. Most likely they'll want to eat you for raw materials.
Good thing you told me to stay calm. That makes it all better.
I'll change things here to fix things there.
Here? There? Wait, am I in 2099?
Yeah, but if I destroy the regeneration eggs here, it'll eliminate the experiments there. Parker, you still with me? Parker!
I'm sorry. Sitting in this egg.
Parker, tell me you're safe.
Dude, just because I'm stuck in an egg doesn't mean I go over easy.
Oh boy. I'm going after Antivenom. You try not to get killed. Again. Your best is lousy.
Alright, so Peter's safe. Sloan's plan is effectively in ruins. It's time to end this.
You wanna go? Let's go! You'll have to up your game with me.
planted that chip in me. Controlled me.
I didn't control you, Brock. I freed you. We both know you wanted Spider-Man dead. You should be thanking me.
Let me show you just how grateful I am!
No! Keep back!
One side, you fool! Before...